Serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurants. Always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Ahead on primetime, the island's total of COVID-related casualties since March is now at 87, after the Joint Information Center confirms 2 deaths this morning. Plus, more COVID-19 positive cases are reported at the Department of Corrections. And the Guam Election Commission preps for the congressional runoff election set for November 17th.
Hafday and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. The Joint Information Center is reporting 2 more deaths related to the coronavirus. This brings the total number of COVID-19 related fatalities in Guam to 87. At around 10:18 p.m. last night, a 37-year-old man died at the Guam Regional Medical City. He tested positive for the virus upon admission yesterday to GRMC. And at 4:30 a.m. today, a 62-year-old man with underlying health conditions died at the Guam Memorial Hospital. He was tested positive upon admission to GMH on October 27th. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero saying, quote, "Words are not enough to express our sorrow for the souls we lost to COVID-19, and too often they fall short of bringing comfort to those who are grieving. To their families and friends, we hope you accept our sincere condolences and sympathies during this especially difficult time." She adds, "Words are not enough. We must show support for these families by committing ourselves to prevent more days of mourning and to ensure no one has to go through this pain." As for the latest numbers, Thursday's COVID census report from the Joint Information Center notes that 101 people tested positive for COVID-19 out of 711 samples gathered by various clinics and labs. Of the new cases, 21 were identified through contact tracing and 2 identified in quarantine. Currently, there are 1,567 active cases and there are over 3,300 recoveries. To date, there have been a total of 5,004 COVID-19 cases in Guam since mid-March. The COVID census at the Guam Memorial Hospital currently shows 73 COVID patients hospitalized. According to Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas, 13 of those patients are currently under an ICU level of care with 6 patients on ventilator support. Of the total COVID patients hospitalized, 10 are currently in recovery at the COVID isolation facility in Barrigada Heights. 11 more Department of Corrections officers have tested positive for COVID-19, making the total DOC personnel infected now at 39. According to DOC Director Joe Carbolito, 120 officers were tested yesterday, and today 200 inmates and detainees at the Manila facility underwent testing by public health. He says a total of 93 DOC officers are on leave and in quarantine or isolation. This includes the number of COVID-positive employees and officers determined as close contacts. Carbolito explains how the jail is operating with nearly half their staff away from the office.
We have 200 employees. So we have moved non-essential employees that were previously assigned to other areas that was not the front line to the front line now. So we've also canceled all regular days off for officers. So we're still okay. We're managing with what we have, and we continue to try to do what we can with the resources that we do.
Now, with the fear of an outbreak amongst the inmates and detainees, Carbolito says, rest assured, they have prepared for this.
We have a plan. We have a contingency plan in place. We have an isolation facility should we need to isolate positive inmates and detainees. And we're working closely with public health and our medical staff that's on board to make sure that everything is done accordingly. We were prepared. We were prepared from the very beginning. We have all our preventive measures in place. It's just there's some things that we can't control.
Carbolito adds by next week, some of the employees will complete their home quarantine and be returning to work. As of news time, there are no test results reported from the inmates or detainees. So far, 10 out of 17 residents at the Department of Youth Affairs officers have tested positive and remain in isolation unit at the facility. DYA Director Melanie Brennan gives more details on the status at the Youth Correctional Facility.
All 10 residents are receiving monitoring checks. We did partner with public health isolation facility nurses, and they do come out to check on the clients, as well as partnering with the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. They do provide 2 daily checks, one in the evening and one in the morning.
DYA does not have an infirmary and full-time medical care. Brennan says that when the administration recognized they were having an outbreak, they wanted to have a healthcare presence besides their youth correctional officers to help supervise the COVID positive residents. So far, 8 officers at the facility have tested positive for the virus. 1 has recovered and 1 is back to work, with the other 7 remaining on home isolation.
1 positive actually was tested initially with the kids, and it returned negative at the time. And so, there's a 2-week incubation period. And so public health had said that, the chances of, the officers that work in the isolation unit, would be really high.
She adds that DYA has stepped up their healthcare protocols.
Many of them have already been fit tested for the N95 respirators. So we need to monitor everybody's symptoms coming in and out. And right now it's just the officers that are cycling in and out of DYA.
In addition, 2 other officers are currently on quarantine due to contact tracing. Part of DYA's mitigation strategy was to reduce admissions into the facility. As we reported, many of the nonviolent clients have had alternative placements, such as with Sanctuary or back at home with their families.
Incarceration for youth should be like the last resort. We want to reserve incarceration for the most violent, unmanageable youth. And so we're working really, really well with our partners, and we continue to work really well with our partners.
If there are any violent or repeat offenders that can't be managed, Brennan says they have a contingency plan within DYA that they're ready to deploy, and they do have a dormitory that is identified for new admissions that's separate from the isolation and quarantine facility. A reminder to the FSM community that there will be free COVID testing at Estembo Gym in Dededo tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon. Testing is being led by the Department of Public Health and Social Services in collaboration with GovGuam, the Mayor's Council of Guam, the FSM Consulate, and the FSM Association of Guam. Testing is available only for the first 200 people, and you must pre-register with the FSM Consulate office. You do not have to be displaying any symptoms, and those that registered last week still have their reservation. A senior administration official tells CBS News the president may not concede the election if Joe Biden declares victory. The race for the White House hinges on just a handful of states where the ballot counting continues. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand is in Washington with more.
In his first address since election night, the president took no questions, but again made false claims about mail-in ballots, and he alleged voter fraud without giving evidence.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
The president referenced battleground states where his lead has narrowed, including Georgia and Pennsylvania.
It's very close in Pennsylvania, right? There's no question. And so that means it's going to take longer to actually see who the winner is. We have very strong processes in place that make sure that voting integrity and security are constantly followed by every county in the state.
Election officials from coast to coast are defending the integrity of the vote counting process, even as the Trump campaign presses forward with legal challenges.
We are not aware of any improper ballots that are being processed.
As the vote counting continues, the focus remains on several key states that remain razor thin. Democratic challenger Joe Biden called a news conference earlier to call for every vote to be counted, but expressed continued confidence in the eventual outcome.
We have no doubt that when the count is finished, Senator Harris and I will be declared the winners.
A Biden campaign official called the president's comments Thursday night desperate and baseless. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
In the meantime, the Guam Election Commission is gearing up for round 2 of Decision 2020 between the 2 top vote getters in the delegate race, Congressman Michael San Nicolas and former Congressman Robert Underwood. But as Tyler Mantonani reports, the GEC needs $365,000 for the runoff scheduled for Tuesday, November 17th.
During Thursday night's Guam Election Commission board meeting, Executive Director Maria Pangilinan says due to a glitch in their financial system, they haven't been able to determine exactly how much money is left for the runoff election, but says it's more than likely not enough. The GEC is currently working on the financial report that they anticipate to have completed for the next meeting on Sunday. However, in the case that funds still come up short, Pangilinan says the GEC does have past government vendors to reach out to, as well as prior year appropriations that they should have access to. She adds that it's still too early to tell whether the GEC will have to appeal to the legislature. One board member suggested utilizing the money intended for the primaries, but Pangilinan says they've already spent quite a bit from it. They will be working with the Department of Administration to find out how much of the expenses will be appropriately charged to CARES.
For the runoff election, in-office early voting, if it was not the pandemic, if we didn't have the pandemic situation, we probably would not have in-office early voting. So all the expenses for the runoff in-office early voting will be appropriately charged to the CARES Fund.
Pangilinan also confirms the ballot design has been approved by the board. Because the runoff election is a continuation of the general election, absentee and early voting will be carried out, and only voters registered in the 2020 general election will be eligible to vote at the runoff. In-office voting will begin Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
November 16, which is a Monday, on the last day, we will close at 12 o'clock p.m. to make sure that we properly prepare the voter roster.
Come November 17th, voting will be conducted at the 22 polling sites throughout the island, just as the general election, and will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pangilinan says they are expecting the voting process to be much shorter than the general election, and due to the sensitivity of the tabulators to blue ink, voters are now asked to use black pens only. Pangilinan adds that if voters choose to go to the GEC office, to call in so staff can prepare the documents to make the process smoother. For further information, you can contact the GEC office at 477-9791. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matsinani.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
We value relationships because when we commit,
I love you guys until you're 80, until you're 90, until you're 100, forever.
We are in it for the long run, so you can enjoy the moments that matter. Because when we commit to relationships, we never stop caring. Calvo's Select Care, health care that is always there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Are you looking to save? Here at Cars Plus, it's Black Friday every day. You'll love our entire Hyundai SUV lineup, like the 2020 Hyundai Tucson, ranked Best Compact SUV by J.D. Power in 2020. Drive home in your new Tucson starting as low as $158 per paycheck, equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain warranty. That's right, there's only one place to shop for your SUV this November. It's here at Cars Plus. Call us at 477-7807 to schedule your appointment today. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Mark Torrey Jr.'s trial continues this morning with a playback of the Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Aurelio Espinola's testimony from the first trial nearly 5 years ago. Torrey is accused of the 2015 deadly shooting of fellow police officer Albert Piolo and faces negligent homicide and aggravated assault charges. This is the government's second try at the case in which Dr. Espinola was unable to physically be present for witness testimony. As stated in court, a stipulation by both parties allowed for the replay due to Dr. Espinola's 2019 retirement, relocation, and diagnosis of Parkinson's. The playback included defense counsel Jay Arreola heavily questioning the possibility of a potential suicide or struggle. Dr. Espinola stating on record, there is always a possibility. The trial is ongoing. Over in District Court, a Navy Exchange or Next Store employee has been indicted on 16 counts of theft of government property and notice of forfeiture. Jesse Cruz Camacho, who was a chargeback clerk for the Next, is accused of using his access and privileges to engage in a scheme to steal electronic devices. From June 2016 to October 2019, Camacho allegedly stole several Apple MacBooks, iPads, and Microsoft tablets amounting to roughly $20,000 and then sold the items on Facebook. Yesterday, he appeared before Magistrate Judge Michael Bordalio. He was released on his personal recognizance. Trial has been set for January 12th. Senators heard testimony today on a bill to limit the use of government land over the Northern Lens Aquifer, the island's primary water supply. Sponsor Senator Regine Bisco-Lee explains that it would create a task force to explore the feasibility of groundwater conservation area up north.
My hope that Bill 405-35 as a result of Bill 405-35, Guam can establish new public parks, green spaces, conservation areas, and research zones that will not only preserve our aquifer for centuries ahead, but also open new and exciting funding and investment opportunities in the near future.
Testifying in support of the measure was Monica De Oro of the Micronesia Climate Change Alliance.
This legislation is important as it seeks to pace development in a way that is sustainable. For far too long, our island has prioritized development at the expense of our environment, especially in northern Guam, where more than half of our residents live. We also want to continue to advocate that this possible task force, if the law is enacted, have more oversight of military lands and their activities that impact our aquifer.
Senator Lee says the bill is one of a series of measures she is proposing to manage local water and environmental resources. Another 93 EIP payments totaling over $124,000 were processed by the Department of Revenue and Taxation. Altogether, for the months of April through October 2020, DRT processed 82,404 EIP program payments, totaling about $145 million. This represents about 96.6% of the total funding received from the U.S. Treasury. In line with the CARES Act, DRT will continue to process EIP program payments through December 31st, 2020. Consistent with the IRS, Guam DRT urges all eligible non-filers to file their forms as quickly as possible so that they will be able to receive the EIP program payment. And a quick update on tax refunds. DRT and the Department of Administration will be mailing out 842 tax refund checks this week, totaling a little over $2.1 million. These include refunds that were garnished to repay Guam debts. They are for air-free returns filed on or before May 6th. One of the biggest threats to native wildlife on Guam, the brown tree snake, has now made its way to Cocos Island. It was back in September of this year that a local fisherman reported potential sightings of brown tree snakes to DAWR. Surveys to better understand the number of brown tree snakes on the island are ongoing, and the rapid response team is also capturing and removing any snakes they find. To date, 4 adult snakes capable of breeding as well as 5 juveniles have been removed. Guam Department of Agriculture Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources is working with partners to better understand how many brown tree snakes are on island and the best way to remove them. The Department of Agriculture's Division of Aquatic and Wildlife Resources Fisheries would like to remind people to be on the lookout for box jellyfish. They can be found on the beach or in the water, especially on reef flats. Box jellyfish are anticipated from November 9th through the 11th. Both box jellyfish and Indo-Pacific man-o' wars can sting even if washed on the beach and dead. If you spot any, please notify the Fisheries Division at 735-0289 or 82. And coming up, this week's Touch of Class. Keep it here.
Get going with GTA Prepaid Unlimited. It's easy to load. Simply press star 488#, send, select 2 on your screen, and then load. And with fast LTE data, you're able to quickly connect and share to your digital world. Plus, with reliable service, you're able to connect with loved ones whenever, wherever. GTA, we start with you.
Welcome back. For this week's Touch of Class, we talk with Guam Education Board member Maria Gutierrez, who was recently presented with the National Association of State Boards of Education 2020 Distinguished Service Award.
All right, welcome to another edition of Touch of Class. Normally we feature educators and teachers, but this time we're doing something a little different, and we're going to feature a board member here on our show. And joining me today, we have the longest serving member of the Guam Department of Education Board and the award-winning Maria Gutierrez. Maria, Hafaday, and welcome to the show.
Hafaday, Andy, thank you for inviting me because, you know, I really wanted to share this because it's not only mine. It's the people of Guam, and it's the first time ever for the Guam Education Board to be recognized, be awarded this, and this award is for the people of Guam, the students, the teachers, everybody that has supported me and believe in me. And I dedicate this award to everyone.
Fantastic. Now, this award, this was given out by the National Association of State Boards of Education. And the thing that struck me is that of all the board members in the country, they only selected 3 to get this award, and you being one of them, a board member from Maine and Mississippi, and of course, our little island of Guam. So this is a huge honor, Maria.
It is really, you know, I serve on the National State Board of Education Nomination Committee for the Western region. And the Western region is comprised of the states in Hawaii and Guam and the CNMI. So that's why they call it the Western region. In fact, we're the largest region because there's 14 states and 2 territories. So every year they at the national annual conference, this is by the board of directors that are they do the selection. Nominees are submitted from each state board, and then from there they would you know, review the application, the nomination form, and everything. And I know it's very extensive reviewing of the nomination form, because I was on the committee, but not for this distinguished services, for another award. And when my colleagues on the board decided that they wanted to nominate me, and I want to really thank my colleague, Dr. Rama Inch. He happened to be the Western Region Director, and he encouraged me to run, to be nominated. And, you know, I never won any recognition for doing what I really love to do and the passion that I have. I don't have any hobbies. This is my hobby. And, you know, I think about it and I said, well, you know, I will go ahead and try, but I wasn't expecting to win. And then, so September 23rd, and the time difference between Washington, D.C. and Guam is like 3 o'clock in the morning that, you know, they're ready to go get out from work. I received an email. I opened my email that early morning because I also wake up early. I communicate with my granddaughter that's in Los Angeles. And it popped out on my email, congratulations, Maria. And, you know, I have to get my bifocal, right? And I look at it and it's like, you are one of the recipient of this, you know, honest, I'm not exaggerating. I cried because I didn't expect this. I'm doing what I do. I love to do, not for recognition. Even here on the island, you know, even in my birthplace, it's Rhoda, and it's the Commonwealth. I'm receiving messages from my families that are in the government, congratulating me. They're very proud because although I'm doing this on Guam, but it's someone from from the CNMI, and it's a first. So it was just it was over with. I cried because I felt so honored, and I dedicate this award. And to receive this, they recognized the services that I put in, but it was because this is what I want. And I think more of that, I was looking at with my nomination form again. I said, I think it got to where is the advocating for students and parents.
Well, good. Again, thank you for all your hard work, and you definitely have a touch of class.
I just want to thank you for calling me and letting me this year, because I know that there's been so many out there as like congratulations, and I said thank you, but this is not mine alone. This is ours.
For the full interview between Andy and Maria, head over to KUAM's social media platforms. Up next, your birthday shout-outs. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day,
for every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
to keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
At the end of a very long week, we want to say happy birthday to some very special Birthday Club inductees, led off by Ed Dizelle. Happy birthday to a very special man in my life, Ed, coming from your wife, Therese, your kids, Stephen, Stephanie, Brittany, and all of your grandchildren. We love you, Papa Ed, they say. That's a wonderful shout out. Great job, family. And Elaine Guerrero says, happy birthday, Nana. You are the greatest Nana and the greatest wife. So Ed and Elaine, and everybody out there whose name begins with E and whose birthday it is, please have a safe, healthy, enjoyable birthday, and we wish you the very best.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birth date. And it's that time of the week where we announce a winner of a delicious Cold Stone Creamery birthday cake.
Okay, everybody, this week's winner is Megan Louise Santos, who is born on October 31st. So, Megan, we hope you have a happy extended birthday, and we'll be in touch with you to let you and your family know how you guys can redeem your Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake. Have a safe, healthy, and yummy extended birthday from all of us at KUAM.
That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks for watching. Have